So kicking it off at number 11, we have the 13th Floor Elevators. This name is referencing the fact that on most large buildings, there is no 13th floor. They skip it in the numbering. So it goes floor 12, floor 14, or sometimes they'll have floor 14A or 12A, just to get around having a 13th floor, because that is considered unlucky, and some occupants may not want to be on the 13th floor. So a 13th floor elevator, where would that go? To nowhere, to a magical psychedelic realm. Is it sort of like in Harry Potter, where they just run into the support column and disappear into the half number? I don't know. The 13th floor elevators, it's very evocative. If you think about bands at the time who had names like the Strawberry Alarm Clock, or songs like Incense and Peppermints, it was sort of just like take two random words, stick them together, and maybe that's sort of psychedelic. But the 13th floor elevators, that's really a cut above. That's kind of a special name, and that's why it made the list at number 11. Moving on to number 10, we have the Psychedelic Furs. Kind of a reference back to those kind of 60s band names. The band says they were at a bar and they were just sort of kicking around ideas, and they had psychedelic, and they wanted to tag something onto the end of it, and furs just sounded right. Psychedelic furs, it just kind of worked, and they just decided, okay, that's it. Now, my stepdad, he had his own theory about the name origin of the psychedelic furs. In the 1960s, there was a toy. It was called the Squirman Herman. Squirman with an A. Squirman. And it was a pet that wiggles and jiggles with your hand when you pet it, to kind of give it a lifelike a look. So kind of a psychedelic fur in its own right. So there could be something to that. Probably not. Probably go with the bass player. But I still like the idea of the psychedelic fur toy from the 1960s. Moving on to number 9, we have Black Sabbath. What a badass band name. I mean, we all know the Sabbath is a holy day, but what about this Black Sabbath, a more ominous Sabbath, a foreboding Sabbath, a dark Sabbath? Very cool, very provocative. This name was taken from the 1963 horror movie Black Sabbath, starring Boris Karloff. Moving on to number 8, and we have Nirvana. Nirvana means a transcendent state in which there is neither suffering, desire, nor a sense of self, and the subject is released from the effects of karma and the cycle of death and rebirth. It represents the final goal of Buddhism. Wouldn't we all like to achieve such a state? Kurt said, I wanted a name that was kind of beautiful or nice and pretty, instead of a mean, raunchy punk name. And he definitely achieved that goal with the classic name Nirvana. Of course, Nirvana was sued by another band, a lesser-known band from the 1960s that had gone by the name Nirvana. And they paid a small out-of-court settlement to that band and were allowed to continue using Nirvana. Moving on to number 7, and we have Fugazi. This is an acronym. taken from a book by Mark Baker, and it is slang for effed up, got ambushed, zipped in a body bag. Fugazi. Effed up, got ambushed, zipped in a body bag, in parentheses. A very cool name that just instantly makes you wonder, like, what does that mean? And you never forget it. You know, I'll always think of the word Fugazi like in spray paint stencil across their touring boxes, you know, sometimes replacing the U with a V and just having that very utilitarian Fugazi aesthetic that we all love. Great band, Fugazi, at number 7. Moving on to number 6, and we have Sonic Youth. So this band, Thurston came up with this band by taking Fred Sonic Smith, guitarist from the MC5, and I'm taking that word Sonic and applying it to another band named Big Youth, which was a reggae band. So we just took that Sonic, replaced Big, and you get Sonic Youth. Such a killer band name, such a killer band. Sonic Youth at number 6. Moving on to number 5, we have the Mothers of Invention. Of course, this band was originally named The Mothers, and a lot of people just call them The Mothers as a shorthand anyway, but the record company did not like that name. They thought it was a little too provocative. And so Frank Zappa came up with the name The Mothers of Invention, of course, referring to the old saying, necessity is the mother of invention. And I mean, in the process, he really improved the name, because isn't the Mothers of Invention just such a better name than the Mothers by itself? I mean, such a cool band name, the Mothers of Invention at number 5. Moving on to number 4. And at number 4, we have the Rolling Stones. Who wouldn't love to have the Rolling Stones as their band name? And apparently the name came about when Brian Jones was on the phone with a journalist, and the journalist asked for the name of his band, and they didn't have a name, and he just sort of scanned around the room, saw a Muddy Waters album, which contained the track Rolling Stone, and he just, in that moment, said, "We're called the Rolling Stones." And so it was that they were forever known as the Rolling Stones thereafter. Perfect band name at number 4, the Rolling Stones. Moving on to number 3, and we have the Grateful Dead. I mean, it's hard to think of a cooler band name than the Grateful Dead. Jerry Garcia was looking through a dictionary, and he found the phrase Grateful Dead. And it refers to the spirit of a deceased person showing gratitude to someone who had arranged their burial. And this concept kind of resonated with the band, with the idea of ego death that one might experience during a psychedelic trip, which is something that the Grateful Dead was very interested in at the time. Number 3, the Grateful Dead. Moving on to number 2, and we have the Velvet Underground. The Velvet Underground, what many would say is the coolest band name of all time, but it is not at the top of our list. There is one more. The Velvet Underground was a 1963 journalistic novel by the author Michael Lee, and one of their friends suggested this name to them, and they decided to use it, and that was a very wise move on their part, because what a great name. Now, at number 1, we have the coolest band name of all time, in my opinion, and that is Guided by Voices. So according to Robert Pollard, this is just something he had written in a notebook, and he thought it sounded cool. And I mean, I guess we can all come up with our own ideas about it, what it might mean. Maybe you are being guided towards the perfect pop melody or the perfect rock song. I don't know. Just love the name. It may evokes schizophrenia, possibly a little bit, but don't think that's necessarily what he meant by it. It just sounds cool. It's just cool. Guided by Voices. I mean, it's just, I cannot think of a cooler band name than that. So there you go. Did I skip your favorite band name? Maybe you could write your own top 11 or top 3 favorite band names in the comments. The next video, I'm going to look at the top 11 worst band names of all time, and that should be fun. Got some other videos coming up, the most iconic album covers. So this is my first video, but make sure that you like and subscribe, and I will have many more coming your way. I'll see you guys again soon.